Hello, this is John Hearn. We're going to talk about significant figures, and I'm going to first go through how we can determine the number of significant figures in a quantity, and then I'll give a few examples. Okay, so significant figures are, when we think about significant figures, this tells us what has actually been measured in the case of a measured quantity. And there's just a few rules associated with significant figures. Rule number one is that non-zero digits are significant. Okay, so that leaves us with the zeros. All right, so for number two, let's talk about the zeros. And zeros between significant figures are significant. And I'll abbreviate that as SF. So this is significant figures. So zeros between significant figures are significant. A quick example of this, if I have the measurement 1,002 meters, the 1 and the 2 are non-zero, so those are significant. The zeros are between those, and so those are also significant. So this measurement has 4 significant figures. Okay, rule number 3. Zeros that trail or that are to the right of a significant figure and the decimal are significant. Okay, so let's look at just a quick couple of examples of this. All right, so if I have the number 0.0240 grams, okay, so this is my measurement. If we look at this, all right, the 2 and the 4 are significant because they're not zero. That's rule number 1. Non-zero digits are significant. So then the question is, what about the zeros? Now, if I look at this rule here, zeros that are to the right of a significant figure and decimal are significant. So if I look here, here's the decimal. Okay? So there is a 0 to the left of the decimal. That one is not significant. I have a 0 that is to the right of the decimal. This 0 is to the right of the decimal, but it is not to the right of any significant figures. So it is not significant. This 0 is to the right of the decimal, and it's to the right of significant figures. So it is significant. So this has 3 significant figures. Let's look at another example. 1200.0 seconds. Okay. Now, if we look at these, let's look at first, these two are significant. The 1 and the 2, they are significant. So the question is, are any of the zeros significant? Well, if we look at it, we can look at these two right here and say, well, we don't know about those yet. Let's look at this one. This one is to the right of a significant figure. Notice there's a 2, and then I have that 0. And it's to the right of the decimal. So this 0 is significant. Okay, so if we just kind of mark these, this one is significant, that one is significant, and this 0 is significant based on Rule 3. Zeros that are to the right of a significant figure, so 2 is to the right, and the decimal is to the right of the decimal, are significant. So what about these two zeros that are in between? Well, if we look back at rule number 2, zeros between significant figures are significant. Well, these two zeros are between significant figures. So these are significant. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 significant figures. Okay. All right, let's look at one more example. Let's look at the number, or the measurement, 1,030 kilograms. All right, how many significant figures are there in this measurement? Well, we know that the 1 is significant and the 3 is significant. That means that this 0, based on Rule 2, zeros between significant figures are significant. This 0 is also significant. So what about this one? Well, this one, if we look, zeros that are to the right of a significant figure, well, it is to the right of a significant figure. And the decimal, well, it's not. It's to the, there is no decimal. The decimal is implied to be here. It is not to the right of a decimal, so that one is not significant. So this one has 3 significant figures. All right, and I want to mention one more thing on significant figures, and this is just because sometimes people are a little bit lazy and they want to kind of cheat their way into writing zeros as significant. Sometimes you'll see a number like this or a quantity like this, 130 point, and then we'll just call this meters, okay? So sometimes you'll see this written down, 130 with the decimal. And what the authors are trying to communicate here is that this 0 is significant. So this doesn't really fit neatly into any of our 3 rules. It's something that you will sometimes see written in textbooks and elsewhere. And it's not best practice. So this is not the best practice for saying whether or not something is significant. But this one would have 3 significant figures. Okay? Because of this decimal point. So if the decimal point is written down, then like this, then they're trying to say that 0 is significant, or any of the other ones. I'm not going to do that in any of the work that I do, but you will see this sometimes.